want to thank everyone for signing up and logging in today. Also say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. From the registration list, I see we have people really from all over. I'd like to start with a polling question before I get into the content.
That's right. Thanks for that. We certainly do have an initial polling question here for the audience, and you can vote on this in real time by clicking on your screen. The question we have for you: what is your organization's biggest challenge in extracting value from real-world data? And your options are: we don't know how to use the data effectively. A second option there: we aren't able to demonstrate the value of real-world data. And your third and final option: we don't know where to start. Again, that question: what is your organization's biggest challenge in extracting value from real-world data? And it looks like most of you have voted at this point. I'm going to close polling now and share the results with you. And there we are. 43% of you said we aren't able to demonstrate the value of real-world data. And 29% of you, and the other 29% of you, said we don't know how to use the data effectively, or we don't know where to start. And with that, I'll hand back the mic to you, Pamela.
Okay, thank you. Interesting results, really sort of across the board. A little bit higher on, how do we demonstrate the value. Hopefully, through today's presentation, I'll actually be able to provide each of you with some information to help you move further along in either your use of the data or improving the value of the data within your organization. So looking out my agenda, so I'm going to talk a little bit about big data meet real-world data. I know big data is being used a lot now in the area of healthcare. So I kind of want to put it a little bit in perspective to how it might be used in other industries. I'm going to talk about what I call the panacea. So what does everybody want from big data or real-world data? I'm going to go through some examples of types of real-world data that are available, the benefits as well as some of the limitations to them and some of the ways of overcoming the limitations, and also provide you just some resources on where you can actually find out about different data sources that are available. So first, big data, meets real-world data. So according to the International Society for Pharmaceutical Outcomes Research Task Force, they define real-world data as observations of what happens after a treatment decision is made, where the researcher cannot control what treatment is provided or the medical management of the patient beyond observing the outcome. Now, they're not only obviously observing the outcomes, you're observing the treatments, you're observing what occurred before the treatment. This definition is a little dated. I think it's about 5 or 6 years old at this point. And I think really this is sort of a better definition rather than, yes, it's real-world data, but what we also refer to as observational data, where we're seeing, what occurred and when it occurred. So with respect to big data often refers to data where there is a large volume and what I'll refer to as an unwieldy structure. So that it may be very difficult to manage and to process and to pull information out from what you have available. So put things a little bit in perspective, Google will process 20 petabytes of data a day. What you see right now on your screen are in real-world data, how they can be classified as big data that may not be in the volume, may not be near a petabyte of data. However, just a single year of a claims database that has about 45 million lives, you're talking 4.5 billion rows of data and 900 columns. For an EMR database with, say, 30 million lives, you now have more than twice the number of rows, 10 billion rows, about a third the number of columns. So these data are both wide and long. And then there's also, as an example, you might have physician progress notes, which is completely unstructured and just free text. So there are a lot of issues with not only storage, but access and, as well as pulling that information out. How do I find that kernel of information that is important to myself, to my management, to my stakeholders out of this vast volume?